Hello ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a great and wonderful day. Sorry for the only 2 videos today. I'll probably be working over the weekend so I can get more videos out on Monday and then throughout the week. So I apologize for that. This has been terrible. Hopefully I can get more videos out. But without further ado, enough about my issues. Let's go into a district attorney getting his actual just desserts. As you know, this man has advocated and went for reducing the crime level, or not increasing the crime level, by being very soft on crime. And, of course, him and his mother get carjacked at gunpoint. It's just so hilarious, isn't it? Well, let's get into it. We have this. District Attorney Jason Williams and his mother carjacked at gunpoint in New Orleans. Orleans Parish District Attorney Jason Williams and his 78-year-old mother were carjacked at gunpoint Monday night. OPDA confirms that the DA Williams and his 78-year-old mother was carjacked at gunpoint as he was helping her into a car. Office spokesman Keith Lepkin said in response to a question from Fox 8. DA Williams and his mother were unharmed and both thanked the NOPD for their hard work tonight and every night responding to the crime victims. So, without further ado, guys, I'm going to show you exactly on what's going on with the DA and what the situation is and how everything has been happening in New Orleans since he's been, took the reins of the place. Take a look.
Get out the car, Mama. Let me get my mom out the car. Come on. Come this way.
Records show one person is booked in connection to the armed carjacking of Orleans District Attorney Jason Williams and his mother.
18-year-old Raymond Rochon faces multiple counts. However, NOPD did not say if he will be booked with carjacking or armed robbery. Chris Welty reports.
According to NOPD records, 18-year-old Raymond Rochon is just one of at least 3 suspects accused of carjacking Orleans District Attorney Jason Williams and his mother Monday night.
This is District Attorney Jason Williams, and I was just carjacked at the corner of Race and Magazine Street.
Records obtained by Fox 8 say the suspects pulled next to the DA's SUV in a stolen truck. Williams says that's when 2 armed masked suspects demanded his vehicle and mother's belongings.
Were any weapons involved?
Yes, 2 guns, 3 to 4 assailants.
Williams pleaded with the suspects to allow him to get his mother out. Once he did, the blue truck took off, but the suspect in his SUV was briefly stuck.
And where are the suspects now?
We got out of the car. They're trying to take my car, but they're not going to be able to get very far because they don't have a key. So the car is there. So if someone gets there now, they can get one of the assailants who was left in my car, and the other 2 drove away.
NOPD was able to quickly recover DA Jason Williams' black Lincoln Navigator because the carjackers did not get the key fob. The vehicle was processed for evidence and it's now back in his possession. 30 minutes after Williams' SUV was stolen, a woman was carjacked nearby. NOPD records showed detectives obtained license plate readers of both vehicles and discovered the blue truck was also involved. Tuesday morning, detectives found the truck connected to the 2 carjackings. For more than 8 hours, they surveilled the truck and did see 3 men wearing all black. Detectives followed the vehicle to another location in New Orleans East. According to NOPD records, when the detective approached, Rochon removed a gun from his waistband, placed it on the ground, and surrendered. As the officer read Rochon his Miranda rights, he said, "I know why y'all are here." He went on to say, quote, "Y'all's people had been got."
I just think it's important to reiterate that my mother and I are just a very small fraction of the number of people who've been affected by violence in this city. And we just have to collectively work on crime prevention efforts, doing what we can to help policing efforts, and do what we can to help our prosecution efforts.
This afternoon, Rashawn made his first appearance in court. When Rashawn was arrested, records show that he was also wanted on prior charges. His bond for his alleged involvement in the armed carjacking case is set at $120,000. His defense attorney believes more charges will be added. Fox 8 did ask NOPD during an unrelated news conference this afternoon about this case, but officers did not offer any details on Rashawn or the other individuals involved.
Hello. So, yeah, it seems that what this man here has said with the DA, it says this is only a small chance of this happening, or only 1%. It's not the majority, and what have you. And I have a gripe with that. I beg to differ on that front, because here's the thing: if it really is only thing that's been happening to him, and it's happening to a very small percentage of people, then why are all these statistics and this data coming out onto him being the direct cause of all these releases and crime increase? Because it's a little odd that you say that, bud, when this is going on.
Crimes ranging from carjackings to domestic abuse to murder in New Orleans were simply let out of jail or to their bond obligations. We found hundreds of accused criminals essentially timed out of jail or those obligations because they hadn't yet been charged by the district attorney. Here's our new investigation, Back on the Streets.
The NOPD searches for a man accused of beating someone with a metal pipe in an armed robbery.
The NOPD needed your help finding this man who demanded money from a victim in the middle of the day in the CBD.
They say Solomon demanded money and then struck the victim several times before taking the money and running away.
Records show just a few days before the NOPD asked for help last month, the judicial system had Jeffrey Solomon in custody for another offense. Solomon was locked up for attempted armed robbery, aggravated second-degree battery, and criminal damage to property. But he was released from jail, and days later, police say he committed another crime.
I don't understand why he was released.
The reason why: the law forced a magistrate to release Solomon. The legal community calls it a 701 release. The state criminal code gives defendants the right to a speedy trial. It sets a time limit on the amount of time the district attorney has to file charges. In most felony cases, if the DA fails to bring charges, that defendant is released from jail after 60 days. Or if the defendant is out on bond, he or she is released from those bond obligations after 150 days. Court records show Solomon made his first court appearance on November 19th. So without any charges filed, 2 months later, on January 19th, he was released from jail. And this is not an isolated incident. We requested court records to track the number of 701 releases since 2017, the number of times a defendant was released from jail or bond obligations, with the district attorney failing to bring charges. Prior to Williams taking over as DA, the office had between 60 and 133 701 releases a year until 2021, when Jason Williams took over and the 701 releases shot up to 885.
Now, I'm a little curious about this, right? So, how is it possible that you're saying this is a 1% of chance of happening, it's not happening to the majority of people, yet, and from before you even got into office or before became the DA, it shot up almost 6 to 7 times, no, make that 7 to 8 times more people than the previous years. Now, I don't know about you, but that seems like a massive increase, and you can't possibly be the only person that be the only reason why this is not happening. Because in 2021, it went up by 700 plus people. Like, that's insanity. So this man is just outright lying. And I think what Tim Pool was saying with exactly what the point may be is that he's happy about this. He's smiling about it. He likes it that it's happening. Because he just outright said, and again, I'll put this up for everybody to see here. He just pretty much outright said that it's just not a big concern. This is only happening for 1%, and he lied.
I just think it's important to reiterate that my mother and I are just a very small fraction of the number of people who've been affected by violence in this city. And we just have to collectively work on crime prevention efforts, doing what we can to help policing efforts, and do what we can to help our prosecution efforts.
That just tells you that something is drastically different. And I mean, it's not a factor of 5 or 6. You're talking 700 more that are happening in that year alone.
According to these numbers, the city is on pace to have nearly 1,400 701 releases this year.
A very small fraction of the number of people who've been affected by violence in this city. And we just have to collectively work on crime prevention efforts.
This is going to upset some New Orleanians.
It should. It should. When you see 700 different, that is a huge number. And you can't just explain it away by saying COVID's a problem, the courts are a problem, ability to function with people is a problem. When you have repeat offenders in particular, and significant ones, people are going to be upset about it.
Yes. So how do we get to this point to where this guy can just outright lie to his people and to his own public and say, like, this is only happening a small percentage when it seems like a dramatic increase is happening, is going to happen, 1,400 more new releases, and then the crime is going to keep on spiking, and then he gets hit by it. It's like, it's just insanity to me. Now, I understand there is crime that is happening across, you know, my state as well. I have been affected by this said crime. I mean, you could probably go look at my car seat and see what they were trying to ransack through my car and see what they were trying to do here. So I have been affected. And you want to say that Gavin Newsom, my great old governor, say that the crime is lower down when I've been affected by this said crime and it's been happening across the state, not just everything. So I really want to say how is this even remotely possible in this factor, right? So here we have it to where he's outright lying, the people are suffering, and we have to deal with these very far left woke DAs that are destroying our cities, destroying our country, and people want to keep voting for these far left individuals. I understand there's a cultural shift happening, but this is what you expect, this is what you get when you get woke DAs and all this stuff happening. Well, only the great thing is that it's hilarious to see the carnage come to them for once, where they have to face the realities of their own stuff. Of course, they'll deny it, as this guy did, but it's hilarious to see that, you know, karma is slowly creeping up on them. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share, and as always, take care, my friends.